The cargo bay of the merchant vessel, Twilight Serpent, erupted into chaos when the container cracked open. Captain Vrel, a Zenthari with 4 eyes and scaled blue skin, watched in horror as the small creature tumbled out onto the metal floor. It was no bigger than a large dog, covered in midnight black fur with silver stripes running down its spine, but everyone on the ship knew what it was: a Karveth cub. The adult Karveth were the apex predators of the Outer Rim territories. They stood 9 feet tall with claws that could tear through reinforced steel. Their jaws could crush bones like twigs. Entire colonies had been abandoned when Karveth packs moved into the area, and now, somehow, a cub had been accidentally loaded onto their ship from the last cargo pickup on Station Vera 9. The cub shook itself and looked around with bright yellow eyes. It opened its mouth and made a sound that was half hiss, half growl. The dozen crew members in the cargo bay froze. Vrel's comm device crackled to life. "Captain, we're detecting high stress hormones from multiple crew members," said the ship's medical officer. "What's happening down there?" "Get security to the cargo bay," Vrel whispered into his comm. "We have a Karveth cub loose." The creature took a few uncertain steps forward. Its movements were clumsy, awkward. One of its back legs seemed to drag slightly. As it moved closer to the crew, several of them backed away toward the exits. The Zenthari species had evolved as prey animals on their homeworld. Every instinct in Vrel's body screamed at him to run. The cub made another sound, this time more plaintive. It was limping badly now, and Vrel could see a dark stain on its left hind leg. Blood. The creature was injured. "Nobody move," Vrel ordered. "Slow movements only. We need to contain it without agitating it further." But the cub seemed to sense their fear. Its ears flattened against its head. The small fangs became visible as it pulled back its lips. The crew member closest to it, a young Barathi named Kless, stumbled backward and knocked over a stack of supply crates. The crash echoed through the bay. The cub lunged forward with a screech, swiping its small claws through the air. Kless fell to the ground, covering his head with his arms. The other crew members shouted and scattered. Some ran for the exits. Others grabbed whatever they could use as weapons or shields. "Don't hurt it!" Vrel shouted, though he wasn't sure why he said it. The cub was dangerous, yes, but it was also just a baby. A scared, injured baby far from home. That's when Marcus Webb walked into the cargo bay. The human had joined their crew 2 months ago as a maintenance technician. He was tall for his species, with dark skin and close-cropped hair. He carried a toolbox in one hand and had grease stains on his coveralls. When he saw the chaos, he stopped and assessed the situation with those strange, forward-facing eyes that humans had. "Everyone stay calm," Marcus said in his deep, steady voice. "It's a Karveth!" Kless shouted from the floor. "Run!" But Marcus didn't run. He set down his toolbox slowly and looked at the cub. The creature had backed itself into a corner between 2 cargo containers. It was making that plaintive sound again. But now it was mixed with what sounded almost like whimpering. Its injured leg trembled as it tried to put weight on it. "Poor thing," Marcus said quietly. "You're hurt and scared, aren't you?" Vrel's translator must have malfunctioned, because surely the human didn't just call the apex predator cub a poor thing. But Marcus was already moving, walking slowly toward the creature with his hands visible and empty. "Human, what are you doing?" Vrel demanded. "That creature can kill you." "It's a baby," Marcus replied without taking his eyes off the cub. "Look at it. It's terrified." The cub watched Marcus approach. Its yellow eyes tracked every movement. When Marcus was about 10 feet away, the cub lashed out again. Its small claws extended, each one sharp enough to slice through flesh. It hissed and snapped its jaws, showing rows of needle-like teeth. Marcus stopped but didn't retreat. I know," he said in that same calm tone. "You're scared. Everything's loud and strange and your leg hurts, but I want to help you." The human did something that made Vrel's blood run cold. He sat down on the floor, making himself smaller, less threatening. He crossed his legs and just sat there, a few feet from the dangerous predator cub, as if he was settling in for a casual conversation. "What is he doing?" Kless whispered from behind an overturned crate. Vrel didn't have an answer. In all his years of space travel, he had never seen anyone act like this around a Karveth. Even experienced hunters kept their distance and used long-range weapons. But this human was sitting on the floor like it was the most natural thing in the galaxy. The cub watched Marcus with confusion, evident in its body language. Its ears twitched forward, then back. The aggressive posture softened slightly, though it remained wary. "That's it," Marcus said. "I'm not going to hurt you, I promise." Then the human did something even stranger. He reached down to his belt and unclipped something. It was his jacket, a thick piece of fabric that humans wore for warmth, even though the ship's temperature was already regulated. Marcus spread it out on his lap, smoothing it down. "Look at this," he said, holding up the jacket so the cub could see it. "It's soft, warm. I bet you'd like it." The cub tilted its head, watching the fabric move. Marcus folded the jacket carefully, then placed it on the floor between them. He pushed it gently toward the creature, sliding it across the smooth metal deck. The jacket came to rest about 3 feet from the cub. The creature sniffed at it cautiously, its sensitive nose twitching. Then it looked back at Marcus with those intelligent yellow eyes. The human smiled, something Vrel knew was a friendly gesture for their species, though it showed their teeth in a way that would be threatening for most others. "Go ahead," Marcus encouraged. "It's for you." The cub took one tentative step forward, then another. Its injured leg made it stumble, and it let out a small cry of pain. Marcus made a sympathetic sound, something between a sigh and a hum. "I know it hurts," he said, "but we can help with that too. First, let's get you comfortable." The cub reached the jacket and sniffed it thoroughly. Then, slowly, it laid down on top of it. The soft fabric must have felt good against its fur because the creature let out a long breath and some of the tension left its small body. Marcus didn't move. He just sat there, keeping his distance, letting the cub get used to his presence. After a few minutes, he started talking again. His voice was low and soothing, the kind of tone someone might use with a frightened child. "You got separated from your family, didn't you? Probably wandered into that cargo container looking for food or shelter. Now you're on a spaceship full of strangers and your leg is hurt and everything smells wrong." The cub's ears rotated toward Marcus's voice. It was still lying on the jacket, but its eyes remained fixed on the human. "My species. We had predators too on our homeworld," Marcus continued. "Big cats, wolves, bears. They were dangerous, sure. But they were also just animals trying to survive, and sometimes, when their young got separated or hurt, they needed help. We learned to help them. It's just what we do." Vrel found himself mesmerized by the scene. The human's calm presence seemed to fill the cargo bay. Even the other crew members had stopped panicking and were now watching in silent amazement. Marcus reached into his pocket slowly and pulled out something. It was a ration bar, the kind the crew ate during long shifts. He broke off a small piece and held it out. "Hungry?" he asked. The cub's nose twitched again. It lifted its head slightly. Marcus tossed the small piece of food gently, landing it right next to the jacket. The cub sniffed it, then ate it in one quick bite. Its tail, which had been pressed flat against its body, relaxed slightly. "Good," Marcus said. "See? Not all strangers are bad." Over the next 20 minutes, Marcus slowly built trust with the creature. He tossed it small pieces of food. He spoke to it constantly in that gentle voice. He never made sudden movements. And gradually the cub's body language changed from defensive to merely cautious. Eventually, the cub was calm enough that Marcus could move a little closer. He inched forward on the floor, never breaking eye contact, always moving slowly. When he was within arm's reach, he extended his hand palm down, letting the cub sniff him. The creature's wet nose touched Marcus's fingers. It huffed once, twice, then incredibly it pushed its head against the human's hand. Marcus scratched behind the cub's ears gently. "There we go," he said. "You're just a baby, aren't you? A scared, hurt baby who needs help." The cub made a sound that Vrel had never heard from a Carveth before. It was almost like purring, a deep rumbling sound of contentment. It shifted on the jacket, getting more comfortable, and then, with complete trust, it closed its yellow eyes. Within moments, the predator cub was asleep, nestled on Marcus's jacket, while the human gently stroked its fur. Vrel finally found his voice. "How did you do that?" Marcus looked up at his captain and shrugged. "I just treated it like any scared animal. They all need the same things, really. Food, warmth, safety, kindness. Doesn't matter if it's a kitten from Earth or a Carveth cub from the Outer Rim, fear and pain are universal. So is compassion." The medical officer arrived a few minutes later with sedatives and medical supplies. With Marcus's help, they were able to treat the cub's injured leg while it slept peacefully on the jacket. Vrel contacted the local Carveth colony on the nearest planet, and they arranged for the cub's family to meet them at the next station. When the cub's mother arrived 3 days later, she was exactly as terrifying as Vrel had imagined. 9 feet of pure muscle and fury, she entered the ship with a hunting party, ready to tear apart anyone who had harmed her young. But when she saw her cub, healthy and sleeping contentedly on a human's jacket in a specially prepared holding area, she stopped. Marcus approached her with the same calm demeanor he had shown the cub. "Your baby is safe," he said. "We took care of the injury. Fed, warm. Just scared and missing you." The mother Carveth looked at Marcus for a long moment. Then she made a sound deep in her chest, something that the translator rendered as gratitude. She picked up her cub gently in her massive jaws and turned to leave. Before she exited the ship, she looked back at Marcus one more time. Something passed between the human and the apex predator. An understanding, perhaps, a recognition that kindness transcends species. After they left, Kless approached Marcus in the cargo bay. "I don't understand," the young Barathi said. "How did you know it wouldn't kill you?" Marcus folded his jacket and tucked it under his arm. "I didn't," he admitted. "But I knew it was hurt and scared. Sometimes you have to take a risk to help someone in need. That's what makes us human." Vrel watched from the doorway as Marcus returned to his maintenance work. He thought about all the species in the galaxy, with their different strengths and abilities. The Zenthari, with their 4 eyes, could see in multiple spectrums. The Barathi could survive in extreme temperatures. The Carveth were the ultimate predators. But humans, it seemed, had a different kind of strength. They could look at something terrifying and see something vulnerable. They could meet aggression with compassion. They could offer a blanket to a predator and somehow make it work. As Vrel watched Marcus disappear down the corridor, whistling an Earth tune, he realized something important. In a galaxy full of predators and prey, warriors and scholars, hunters and gatherers, humanity had carved out their own unique place. They were the ones who reached out when others backed away. They were the ones who offered comfort when others offered only fear. And somehow, that made them more formidable than any claws or fangs ever could.